You'll actually today we are going to discuss the RBP role-based permission and as part of the introduction to mastery, and we'll start with the corporate data model below. And so from tomorrow, as usual, we'll start with the regular class. If you want, you can just attend as a it will be a kind of revision. Otherwise, you can just
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. Let's not wait anymore. Okay. I think only Sahiti and Vinay are there, right? The backup session who are there. Okay. Fine. Let the others whether they want them. Okay, we'll discuss today about the role-based permissions. So as we discussed, for the first time, if you have to log in, you have to log in the you need to create the super admin from the provisioning. Okay, you will create the super admin. So with this we log in, and super admin will have, by default, if you create super admin, by default he or she will get the access to create the other admins, right, or give the permission to other admins. That is RBP access, role based permission access he will have, right? So from here you can create your own whatever as per the customer requirement. You can create local admin, you can create EC admin, whatever you want. Okay, and different roles like employee role, manager role. Anyway, we'll see in the when we are going to have the practical session. The last 3 days of this session, we'll last 3 days of employee central sessions, we'll discuss this. So employee role, manager role, and whatever you will have HR admin, payroll admin kind of thing. Depends on the customer. Okay, we'll see how to create each one of them. So first we have to create the groups. Let's have the manage permission groups. How to navigate that? You have to go to admin center, and admin center set user permissions. Set user permissions and go to manage permission groups. Okay. So we need to create these groups. Okay, basically either you can import, put the users in the file and import. You can do that way. And groups, you can just import the groups if you want to create 10, 15 like that. Otherwise 1 or 2 you can just create. So let's see what is the group name. I'll say admin April. Okay, I have to give the group name, and who should have permission to this. So you have various parameters you can check based on, you can give access based on the user, based on the title, based on the name, based on the position, or based on the department. Okay, you have various. Okay, if you want to be based on the band, okay, department, division, department, based on the department. If you give access based on the department, all the people under that particular department will come. Okay, now I want to give access to finance department, people under the finance department, or let us say under, I can give access to, or I can add one more category. I want to give access to a particular user. Okay, username is equals to, let us say, right? I can also give various other parameters as well. I do have based on the country, I can give access to the people who are in the country India or US however I want. I can just give the access, right? And I can also exclude even from the finance department. If I want, I can exclude. So if I know the users who are there in the finance department, if I want to exclude a particular user, I can exclude, or I can exclude a user, or I can exclude. When I say, I'll say all the people from United States should have access, but except HR department. I'll remove, I'll just select the department and HR here, so that they will be removed from the access, right? Say done. Okay, admin April. Okay, what we have done, now we have created a group, and under the group, permission group, we have the set of people. We have set up the people in the finance department, and we also have added a additional user called Lakshmi, right? Now, what's next? Let's go to manage permission roles. Okay, now let me create a role. So I'm going to create local admin. Local admin 1, right? And I need to give permission. This particular role should have access to what? Say employee data, say view, edit, okay, say compensation data, select all, employee, whatever the access that I want to give, it's based on the role that customer specifies, and for the it depends. Anyway, role-based permissions we will be anyway discussing, and how many roles generally will be there in the company, all that. So an employee views, you can select if you want to exclude, you can just exclude, okay, like this. Say done. Now the permissions which we are giving for this role would be this. It depends on the customer. And now grant this role to the group. Add the group. So which is the group which we have selected? Admin April. Say save changes. Okay. Now we have created the group and we have created the role. Now all the people in that particular role Okay, will have access to all the people in that particular group called admin April will have access to this role called local admin. Whatever the permissions that we have given, they will be able to access that particular whatever we have given the permissions. They'll have access to all this permission required target whatever. Right. Hope it is clear, Binay and Sahiti, and even the others also. If you have any questions, you can please ask me. Okay. We'll quickly see that now how to reset the password. So you can reset the password either individually or based on the groups, individual users or group of users. You can select on a particular, say, let us say, for the department healthcare, okay, or in the location, people from only Atlanta location or Boston. Like that, you can just reset the password. So there are no people in this. So whoever the users that we have given over there, what we do, we just reset the password. Say search, okay. Select here, give the new password and confirm new password. So that system will, so with this password, you'll be able to log in, and for the first time when you log in, system will ask you username and password, and you can change it. Right? So for this, this is the user password is already reset. That's mine. So I don't want to again reset. Otherwise, that is how you can do. So proxy management we discussed. So user welcome email. Okay, whenever an employee is logging into SuccessFactors for the first time, when the user is created, he can a user can receive an email, welcome to SuccessFactors, your login information, user ID and password. Okay, or reset the password reset URL. So you can send this email notification to all the employees, or you can filter only from HR ops, HR representative or matrix manager with the direct report is only like that. Right? All the departments. Okay. So send system message. It will go. All it will. The message will send it to all the people with the user ID and user ID login alone. Okay. Okay, all this delete forms and all is not so relevant. So let's start with any doubts, Vinay and Sathi especially. Sathi, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Vinay?
No, sir.
Yeah, we'll start with Employee Central. Of course, I think you guys were there, right? From this beginning of Employee Central? No. Or you missed the first class or something like that?
I was there.
You were there, okay. About you, Sahiti? Sahiti, you were not there in the beginning?
No, sir.
Employee.
I
You
missed
were
it,
not,
sir. I missed it.
you were not there.
No.
Okay, let me start with Employee Central quickly. So we just actually, we completed a corporate data model and we were in midst of succession data model. Yeah, let's discuss that today. Okay, Employee Central being the core HR centralized database for all other modules. Okay, it has been designed in various, the Employee Central is set up based on various data models. Basically, there are 7 data models which are available. Okay, all the XML based data models. One is the corporate data model, the second one is the succession data model, and country specific corporate data model, country specific succession data model, and you have events derivation data model, workflow derivation data model, and propagation data model. Total 7 data models are there. So for the first time, when you get into the customer instance, you have to download all the data models from the service marketplace and upload it into the provisioning. Right? You have to download all the data models from the service marketplace, latest data models, and upload it into the provisioning. I'll show you where to upload. I think you have seen how to upload, download, but still, I'll just show you once again. Okay, this is where you will have to first time import all the data models. See, import or export data model means succession data model. Import or export country specific data model means country specific succession data model. And similar way, corporate data model, corporate succession, country specific corporate data model. You have rules, workflow derivation, and the propagation. Right? So for the first time, you just import the XML file the way we have right here. So we will get the all the latest data model from the service marketplace and import into the system for the first time when we are doing it. Right? Like all the data models that all the data models will import, or especially the basic data models like minimum data that is required, corporate, succession, all those will just import it for the first time. So corporate data model is the first one. Corporate data model is the first one to be imported. Okay, followed by country specific corporate data model, then succession, like that. Right? So you know, right, what are the data models? You have been looking at it, isn't it, Sahiti?
Sir?
You have seen, right, all the data models, so XML data models.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, all those, yeah. Okay, now quickly come to corporate data model. So corporate data model is the one which talks about the employee foundation objects. What is foundation object? Employee foundation objects are nothing but the basic enterprise structure and organizational related structure. Okay, let me open the XML and show you. So corporate data model basically talks about the foundation objects, various foundation objects and associations between foundation objects, right? You can also add a pick list for a particular field, and search criteria is one thing which you have to discuss in the corporate data model. Then we also have to discuss about the foundation objects which have been moved to metadata framework, MDF. So there are certain foundation objects which have been moved to MDF. They are not there as part of corporate data model. They have moved to MDF, like legal entity, business unit, division, department. So legal entity, business unit, division, department, cost center, some job classification. Okay, all this have been moved. All others are still remaining. If you see here, the foundation objects like location group, geozone, location, pay group, pay grade, they are still there with the corporate data model. Right? Yeah, Rupa, actually we are discussing the backup class actually.
Okay.
Okay, Saturday and Sunday we could not complete. Today we'll complete and make this people, Rupa, Vinay, and whoever it is, they'll take the recording. So they'll from tomorrow they'll continue with the regular thing. So today you just, if you want, you can just participate in this session, as it will be a revision kind of thing for you as well. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Right? If you see the various foundation objects like location, geozone, location group, they're all still there here. And whereas the foundation objects like legal entity, division, department, they all been moved to MDF. Let us get into instance. So all the foundation object values, okay, we will set up here, Sahiti and Vinay, any foundation objects. If you see, we will set up the fields, okay, which field should be mandatory. What is this? IDs, standard, and length you can fix whatever the length you want. Visibility is something which there are three options in the visibility. One is both, none, and only view. If you say view, you will be able to only view, and if you say none, it will not be visible, or it will not be visible at all. If you say both, you can view and edit. Right? Required. Required is nothing but whether this field is mandatory to enter or not. Say now, for example, custom string 2. Okay, this is mandatory. Okay, label is something which you can give the name as per customer requirement. See, external code is the field right here, wherein customer may not like it. He wants to be called as code. So we have given, we can change the label. So when you are changing the label, you have to change for US, which is the first field, and ENGB. You need to ensure these two fields has been resetted. Change the label. Right? Similarly, as I said, there are, I think you guys were part of it, but still I'm just explaining. There are custom fields 1 to 20 will be there. You will have custom string, custom date, custom double, and custom long. Okay, custom string. So these are the standard fields, right? External code, name, if you see, name, description, till here they are all standard fields. Other than that, customer may ask for some other fields. How to cater that? So SuccessFactors has given custom fields to cater those requirements. So custom string is nothing but you can enter the characters. Okay. Custom date is nothing but you can enter the date in that particular field. Custom long is for the integers. You can just enter the number. Custom double is for the decimals. You can enter either number or see, let us say 2, 2.1, 2.3 like that. Decimals will be allowed in that particular field. You can use each of these fields. If you see here for the custom string 2, we ensure we have custom string 1 and 2, we have already used it. If you see the label, we have said state India. Custom field 1, we have selected as state India. Custom string 2, we ensure that this particular field is mandatory and it should be editable. And you can also see that we have given it the field name as, label name as district. Okay. And again, I don't want to show you because you guys have already seen that in the succession data model. After making these changes, we'll upload into the provisioning. So Vinay and Sahiti, do you want me to again re-upload and show you? Vinay, do you want me to re-upload again and show you? Not required.
Please show once again. It's possible.
Okay. Let me make one more field. Okay, custom string 3. We'll use the custom string 3. I'll say both, and it's not mandatory. I'll say Mandal kind of thing. Right, if you see here now, this is where manage organization pay and job structure is where you create all the foundation objects. Now let's see location group. So we don't have the field called Mandal right here. We have state district now. Right? Let's see. Let's upload this into the provisioning. So after making the changes, okay, to any of the, I'm just showing you two for the location group. This can be for any other foundation objects. Okay. So I'll just choose the file. Say submit. So now it's been uploaded successfully. Let us see the implication. So manage organization pay and job structure is where you will create the values, right? For all the foundation objects, except for the foundation object which has been moved to MVF. See, there is something called Mandal. So the star mark is not coming. We have not made the particular field Mandal. right? Is this clear to both of you? Okay. Okay, for all the foundation objects, you can do it in a similar manner, right? Now, association. Association is something which you will create between the two foundation objects. Foundation objects are two MDF objects, whatever it is. Okay. Now, there are standard associations given by SuccessFactors already, or you can give your own association. Let's say location. Location, we have given the association objects. We have associated location with GeoZone and pay grade. Okay, association is nothing but creating the relationship between two foundation objects. Now let us see here. Let's go and try to create location as foundation object. See here, GeoZone and pay grade. Okay, we have given the association because those fields are appearing here. Right? You can change this as well. You can say location group. You can give the association between the location group as well. You can change the association is what I mean to say. Okay. Now let's see. Let's try and uploading it. Okay, it's uploaded successfully. Let's see now. The association should have been created between location and location group. See now, the association is there between location group and pay grade. Hey, where is this? right? The associations which we have created now is between location to location group. The same thing appearing here. Automatically, the values under the location group will come here. Whatever the values which are there under this location group will come here and you can select it, right? So there are multiplicities. ID is always okay. ID should always be standard. So you can say the multiplicity, you can see 1 to 1 and 1 to many. That means this particular foundation object can be created against multiple objects, or only 1 to 1 object is what we decide here. 1 to 1 or 1 to many options will be there. So that is how you create the associations. Is that clear? Is that concept clear? Say Sahiti? Sahiti, is that clear?
Clear, sir.
And Vinay?
Yes.
Yeah. So similar way, if you see here, you have search criteria. Search criteria is nothing but to just search the particular objects based on the fields. Let's say now here we have search criteria, right? Let's say I'm searching for the locations. Go to location, and if you see search, I can search on various parameters. I can search on the code. I can search on the BNG1, which is code, and I can search based on the city, or I can search based on the country. All that options. If you see location, search criteria, there are 4 different fields that are there. You can search based on the city and the corporate address, country, external code, and name. And for others, code and search. If you see code and name which are coming here, right? So that is the use of the search criteria. Just to search a particular foundation object values, we just they have just given that option. Based on that search field criteria, we will be able to search here the values. Okay. So now let's. So I said there are certain foundation objects which have been moved to legal entity, and they have been moved to MDF, right? Now let's see here. Manage organization pay and job structure is where you create the values, right? Now say legal entity. I think Airtel is something that they have changed. See, cost center for Airtel. They have changed the values. Okay, so when you say, when I'm trying to create the legal entity or a company code, if you see, it says that it is being moved to MDF, whereas location group, if I try to create, it will allow me to create here, right? Location, all this. Now, but the basic foundation objects like legal entity, division, department and all are available in MDF object. So where do you create them? Where do you do all the settings, fields, mandatory, non-mandatory, associations for the objects which have been moved to MDF? So you have to go to, you can make a note of it, configure object definitions. So say legal entity. See, this is the one. I think they have changed the label. Yeah, they have changed the label. That's why we are confusing. Yeah, now say legal entity. Legal entity, they have, if you see here, go to take action, make correction. They have already given the standard legal entity foundation object already. So if you don't want to use this, and you can create your own, you can create your own foundation objects. Okay, so it is always prefer to use the standard foundation object. Okay, say make correction. Let's see. See, similar way did we have in succession in the corporate data model for other foundation objects. Similar way, you have all this, you know, legal entity code and effective dating, whether it's a basic or from parent. Okay, when you are creating association between two foundation objects, you have to say to MDF foundation objects, for one of the object which will be a child, you should say from parent, right? So API is something for the integrations between EC to any other tool or whatever. Okay, MDF version history, delete history, or show history. If you select, it will show the history and all. Label, you can change whatever. Earlier the people had changed, right? Airtel or something. Similar way, you can change it. So workflow routing. When you're creating this legal entity, you can also set the workflow. It depends on the customer. It is not mandatory that everywhere you have to set the workflow. Okay, and similarly, the way we have the fields in corporate data model for any of the foundation objects. Okay, similar way, you have all the fields here. You can give the length, you can select the type, date type, you know, data type. Okay, we will discuss when we are discussing the MDF objects. We will discuss all the data types. What is the data? Each data type talks about what is the relevance of it. Okay, time being, you can say whether it's a string, number, date, or whatever, right? And you can go to the details. The way we had making the field mandatory, non-mandatory. You can see here, required, visibility, all that is there. You can select it, right? So if you want any custom field to be added, you can just add. You can keep on adding the custom fields here. I'll say BU. So whenever you are adding the custom field, it will come as cust underscore, right? Cust underscore. You can keep on adding the fields, right? So searchable fields also the same way. You can give whatever the name is. It is it based on the company code or label. Okay, what is rules and the security? When we are discussing about the MDF, we'll discuss it, right? Okay, and associations. If you see associations, we have created here, right? Similar way, even in MDF foundation objects, you can create the association. We have created the association between legal entity USA with the legal entity, main legal entity, Russia, Denmark, Germany, Spain, all this foundation object. So you can keep on adding whatever the association you want. Type should be always composite, and discuss valid when and join by column. We'll discuss when it comes to foundation objects. Time being, what I mean to say, for the foundation objects, there are certain foundation objects which have been moved to MDF. So these are the foundation objects. Legal entity, division, department is what I'm trying to convey. That is it. Okay, and I'm just showing you guys how to make field mandatory, non-mandatory. When it comes to MDF, we'll discuss what is MDF object, what is MDF foundation object, how can it be converted into a portlet, All that we will discuss. Right? Where do you create the values? Now we set for all these foundation objects which is there in the corporate data model. You'll make all the settings, right? And field mandatory, non-mandatory, adding the pick list, all that. Okay. Similar and values you will create under manage, pay, or whatever. And similar way, but the foundation object which have been moved to MDF, you create all the settings. Okay, field, making the field mandatory, non-mandatory, increasing the length, label, all that you do it in under configure object definition. Where do you create the values? Values you will create under manage data. So manage data, go to legal entity. You can create it. So if you have a default pay group for that particular legal entity, you can select. Generally, it all depends on the customer location, where under which pay group it falls on, and default location. Standard working hours, if you have, you can select 40 per week. Currency you have to select. I'll select INR. Country you need to select. So these are the custom fields that we have created. Let me select yes. Because for a particular field, what is Boolean and all, we'll just discuss a little later. Branch, I'll say South. Okay, these are the fields that they made, default values in the settings. We will discuss when it comes to MDF object. Say save. Now I have created the legal entity called XYZ company, right? Similar way I can create the business unit and all. Okay. Give the values, all these values, and create the business unit. Just give business unit code, name, head of the unit if you want, you can select. Assistant head of the unit, something, I think these people have created some, added some custom fields, that is it. Okay. So the other foundation objects which are there in the corporate data model, you will create the values under manage organization, pay and job structure. Let's say, let me create location. I'll say bank 1, 2, 3. I don't know these people. I think even the name field they made pick list. See here they made it as, for the name field they made it as pick list. So that is why it is coming as pick list, and they have given certain values. But in general it should not be like that. They just tried. I am happy that they have tried and did that. Location group, if you want you can select, say APAC, time zone. This is the associations that was there, right? I'll select Indian time zone or whatever. Standard weekly hours per week. The others are not mandatory fields. Say effective date. I'll select the effective date as first. I can also select which location group, which pay group, all that. Say I'll select India. for the business address. It will give me the address fields. Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Save. Now I created the location. Similar way, you can create all the foundation objects. Okay. Here. And the same will be available for the employee to add it. Any location, legal entity, all that. So now tell me, Sahiti and Vinay, any doubts, Sahiti? I think from succession data model onwards, you guys were present, right? Sahiti? Hello, Sahiti, are you there? Sahiti, we are not able to hear you. Can you just type the message where you, I think you are attending the classes from succession data model onwards. Correct? Type the message, Sahiti. We are not able to hear you. If you have any questions, please type the message over there. Vinay.
Yes. Yes,
Vinay,
sir.
is this clear to you?
Yes. Actually, in the last 5 minutes, my internet connection was, power outage was there. It's coming
Okay.
in.
Anyway, you were part of the initial classes. And
Yeah,
what last one is it?
I couldn't hear the last 5 minutes, that's all, but everything so far I was, it's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I got
Great. Nice. Nice. Anyway, it has become a good that it has become a revision session for all of you guys, other guys as well. Yes, Sahiti. Yes, Sahiti.
Hello.
Yeah, Sahiti, is that clear to you?
Sir, can you repeat it me once again, last 5 minutes?
Okay.
You
I
do
think
need
what
to
happened, you were there from the time I tried creating the legal entity, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Let me show you. See, I said there are certain foundation objects which have been moved to MDF, right? Metadata framework, legal entity, division, department and all. So where do you set? Configure object definition is where you set the settings that we do in the data model, right? Making the field mandatory, making the field visible, editable, changing the label, all these changes that we are doing for a foundation object in the XML corporate data model. Similar way for the objects which have been moved to MDF, you will make the changes here under configure object definitions. The legal entity. Okay. So we'll give the code, effective dating as basic, and we have other options also from parent and all. We will discuss what is from parent, everything when the topic comes to MDF. I just wanted to ensure that the foundation objects which have moved to MDF, I just wanted to showcase that now. That is it. Okay, label, you can see label. Okay, other fields we will discuss when it comes to MDF. Right? Workflow routing, we will discuss everything. And you have all the fields here. Right? You can make the field length, you can select the field type as a string, a number, auto number, or whatever. These options, all these options we will discuss when it comes to MDF. You don't have to worry. As of now, I'm just showing it to you. And MDF in detail, we will discuss MDF objects. Okay. Go to detail, you can set the length. You can set the visibility. the way we have here, visibility both and required true and all that you can set it here. Visibility required, all that, right? And you can change the name as well, label. Okay, all these rules, field criteria and all, we will discuss it when it comes to MDF. Fine. So this is what I have discussed in the last minute, and I'm just doing the settings here for the MDF foundation objects, right? Now, whatever the settings I do in the corporate data model, where do I create the values? I create the values under manage organization, plan, job structures. See, location, I have done the settings like, which field to be mandatory, which is not mandatory, and I can make a field, I have added a custom field, all that I have done, right? And the associations we have created. And where do we create the values? We create the values on the manage organization, plan, job structure. So go here, create the values. Okay, give code as Bangalore, Hyderabad, whatever name they have made it as pick list, otherwise it should be a free text. We'll make it free text, no worries. Okay, all the fields, you give all the fields, just give all the fields and save, that's it. So this is how you create the values for the foundation objects which is there in the corporate data model. What about the foundation objects which have been which have been moved to MDF? Where do you create the values? You do the settings under the configure business objects. Values, where do you create? You create under the manage data. Say legal entity. So this is where you create. Okay, we have just created, right? XYZ company or something. This is what we have created. If you want to make any correction to this, you can make the correction. So this is what I have discussed in last 5 minutes session, Sahiti. Is that clear to you, or do you have any questions?
Clear, sir.
Hello?
Hello?
Sahiti, is that clear to you now?
Clear, sir.
No. Don't worry. If you have any questions, you can still ask. No worries. If you have a basic question also, you can ask me.
Clear, sir. Nothing.
Okay, great. From tomorrow, I think from succession data model, you are part of the classes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we will continue with our regular sessions from tomorrow. Fine, Sahiti?
Fine, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thanks for your patience. The others, Beulah, Ravi and all, I think Suresh and all, they have left the session. That's fine. Good that, at least this would have become a revision session by you guys. We'll continue with, continue tomorrow, whatever, wherever we left on Friday. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining. See you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning. Bye-bye.